The environment, the climate that's going to be here, Lord, so we ask that you give me the discernment to guide the folks here on how to begin to developing their own food supply for them. In Jesus' name we pray. Amen.
Amen. Amen.
Amen.
So,
now, first thing, actually second thing, well, first thing for me is that you don't plant pines across the front to block it.
Amen.
This is your food
Amen.
area right here, because this is the only sunny spot you have.
Amen.
That maple's got to be knocked down because you need as far as you can go, because that's the south, and you've got this sun shining in like this as the summer progresses and it gets towards fall. Those trees are going to be shading out a certain part of this area, so you can't use it for garden. So that's your limit. You don't want that tree interfering, and you don't want to plant any trees along there at all.
Yeah.
And even if those are poplars, they're not too bad on your neighbor's side, but you can even volunteer to knock them down for him too.
Amen.
Just
If you would agree,
probably,
yes.
You probably won't mind. Be glad to. But you want all the sunlight coming in, because you basically have, this is it. And it's nice to have the house here because that pushes the forest back. And if you want to expand later, you're going to have to take these trees out here, okay? Because then you can use on the other side of the driveway, and that you can go almost up to the edge of the woods because you have the sun slipping, the sun coming this angle from the south. So that side, the garden, so this side from the south, you're going to have to hang back those trees. You're going to have to hang back the garden. You have to be at least 30 feet in order to get enough sunlight.
Sun coming through. Can we do some clearing in between?
There's
that
no
more
in
sun
between.
can- oh,
It's
there's no in
clear cut if you're
Amen.
planting
Amen.
food.
Amen. Okay.
Well, okay, at this point, you tell me, where do you own?
Well,
Where's your boundary?
the narrowest part is that part, and then
See that border of trees there?
Yes,
do you own
that's-
beyond it, or
no,
is that your border?
that's my border.
Oh, well, that's good.
Yes.
And then this.
and then it goes wider up to the.
Okay.
the
Is that
yes,
your border there
yes.
too?
Straight down to that orange part there.
The
So it's
orange thing right
4.9 acres.
That orange thing right there. Right down
Oh,
there.
okay.
Yes.
On the
So
tree.
you can
right
move a few of these trees
there.
here.
Yeah. The orange thing right down there.
Yeah.
Right down there. Right down. Okay, so there's oh, is that a?
It's like a
Oh, way
posted
down
sign.
in the
Yeah.
woods.
Yeah,
Okay,
No,
okay,
the
okay.
posted sign, yeah.
Yes, a posted sign.
Yeah. That's for the future.
Amen. Amen.
This is for now.
Now. Amen.
You have to take care of this now
Amen.
and start using it. You have a steep slope, so you'll want to terrace plant things on the steepness here. They tried to level it down there. That's fine. It's nice to have level to work with, but if you don't, that doesn't mean you can't work with it.
Amen.
You just grow it in strips, and you leave the grassy ways between the strips so that the topsoil won't wash down. The grass will hold it there, and you can grow in those strips, different things.
Okay.
Okay, so you have a grass walkway, strip of plantings all along the hill, grass walkway, strip of plantings all along the hill, and that's how you're going to have to grow on this kind of slope.
Gotcha.
Okay?
Gotcha. All right.
So that's your...
So as we plant, then we will actually see what you're talking about as we get into.
You'll see as the soil, as soon as you till, and then you get a heavy rain and it
Washes it.
starts. But you'll want to mulch. That's the method you'll want to use to
Okay,
hold
to
the
hold
soil
it.
in place.
Gotcha.
So mulching would be, see those bales, those round bales out there?
Yes.
There's a number of them that he misses, and they're no good, and you want to get those.
Okay.
You
Gotcha.
want him to you know.
Be kind enough to share with you.
Yeah, or however you can. If it's a matter of, I mean, if he's going to get rid of some that he didn't use, say sometimes you bail because you want to clean up the brush and stuff that's starting to get in the field, and so he may just want to get it out of the way, or you just leave it somewhere. Ask him, you know, are those bales along a road down there? I don't know. Is that a roadway down
No,
there?
it's actually it's somebody's land there.
But is
the
that
road-
a road?
The road is beyond, like,
It's further down,
Yeah.
back.
So there's a road
Yes,
down in
there's a
there,
road
too.
down there.
Secondary, another road.
Yes, there is.
Oh, okay, okay. Well, there may be bales along the edge, or any of these other farms that have bales that left there. Ask them if you can have them. You know,
I
just
will.
or you know, do you want those things? You're getting rid of them. You know, I'll give you $5. You know, just put it on my trailer here. You'll need a trailer. You'll need a. Everyone needs a mule, and that's called a pickup.
a pickup.
Yeah.
We have one.
Okay.
We have
And
one. A mule.
because you're going to be, in order to grow your own food, you're going to be constantly hauling and transporting material to work with it. So, and a nice flatbed trailer, because this is what you'll be using. Have them brought up. Just roll them off in your yard, near the garden, or wherever, and then just use them to mulch with.
Amen.
Okay, and that will keep your soil from washing down.
Washing down. Gotcha. That will keep it in. Bricks
Yeah.
work?
What's that?
Bricks.
Bricks can work to build up one side.
Okay.
Okay.
Okay. Okay.
Unless you have some constant source of income coming in from somewhere else, once you move out to the country, you leave the place where your money was coming
I
from,
know.
and so therefore you have to become very frugal. Bricks cost money. I would use the word stones. I would use the word logs. All of those are free, but stones are heavy. Logs are a little less heavy, you know. You know, if the idea is you want more land to use, start knocking some of these trees down, drag a log out, and maybe put it on the bottom side to sort of
To keep
build up,
Yes.
make a little, if you want, but
Yes, we can do that.
but you don't have to either. You can just plain
Mulch.
mulch it and only turn it over in strips. So what I like to do is get the lowest first, because, you know, I don't like to bend over. Okay, so yeah.
You cut them. So to spring up again, because I mean the growth a lot. We have those too. We have one of those.
You also have, you notice how you have this bush here, and you have a bush here. You only need this bush here. Well, this started off of this. So you can dig these out, move them over minimum 6 feet, and plant another one. And then you have this, see you have this clump over there, but you got these and this here.
Yeah.
You can dig this
Spread
out,
them out.
cut these out, and dig these out and plant more. And when you dig that all out, you can break that clump up into more plants.
Gotcha.
And so you can have more plants, provided you like this blueberry.
But when you transplant it, what's the best way to do so?
What's that?
What is the best way to transplant it?
Take up the whole thing and put it somewhere else.
So you're gonna dig down, right, in order to get it up and to move it. But when you
Get it out of the ground, then you break it up.
okay,
But make sure each chunk that you break off it has a good root system.
okay,
Now I can't demonstrate that 'cause
Right.
it's not the time of year to do that.
and first putting it back in the ground, what are you doing? Are you using big stones? What method are you doing?
Blueberries grow on the surface. You just dig out enough of a trench to put the hunk back in again. And they like being mulched with wood chips.
Yes.
Okay, pine needles. They like that. They want an acid environment. Okay, so oak leaves and pine give them an acid environment. That's what they should be mulched with. They'll appreciate that. Okay, so let me make the cuts here. See how this thing is low, this thing is down low underneath. I'm taking that out. So it's all hanging underneath. Okay. This thing is down low, and this here, that's not much of anything either. So I'm taking that out.
Oh, okay. So I think I got what you're doing. So if it only has a little bunch, is that what it is?
No, I'm taking out 1/3 of the old wood. I'm making my selection based upon what is lowest down and most scrawny looking.
Okay.
I mean, look at this. Look at this branch here.
They have no roots.
You know,
There's not much on it. Okay.
Okay.
They roots if you want to
Dig
plant
it up
it.
with a fork.
If you want to plant it.
Yeah, 'cause
We had one that
Yeah, we transplant.
I was just dig it like this.
Okay. You know.
We pick it off, dig it up and plant it.
Then the other question is, which month is best to transplant it?
Spring or fall.
Okay.
Okay, so the maple, which one is good for maple?
Well, you have to be able to. The sugar maples are the best ones.
Okay, and which ones can we see from this tree?
Well,
Like, point out?
Those right there are sugar maples. All
Okay.
Those, you see those bigger ones.
We could get some maple there.
Yeah.
Very good. Thank you. Okay, Jerry Travers, you want to explain to us what pruning an apple
Okay.
tree is? Or pruning a tree?
You prune an apple tree first when it's young to give it the shape you want. In other words, an apple or a pear, you want a central leader to be maintained, and you want scaffold branches with sufficient spacing between them. For a peach or a plum, you would want an open tree. So you would take out the center and you would have multiple branches going out. Sort of like a dish shape is what we do here in the East.
Okay, very good.
And then yearly you would maintain that shape and make sure there's enough airflow through the tree to reduce fungus diseases.
To reduce, okay, very good. Any other closing advice?
No, but as you watch, you'll get more.
We will definitely enjoy it. We're looking forward. Thank you so much, Jerry.
Let's try to take them down a little bit. Okay?
Amen.
So
Amen.
I will begin and show you.
No, you should walk there with your boot, with your shoe. Walk around there. Okay.
See, I can't do that at all. I can't.
that's good for burning. That's good to burn.
So what happened? All this is dead?
Oh, yeah, that's good. Yeah, firewood.
What's ahead? Firewood. That's how I don't waste anything. All
Country
these little
Living
branches,
101.
They give you some.
He is actually pruning the trees. Oh, watch it.
What's your place?
Ladies and gentlemen, what you're viewing is the pruning of the trees. This is how it gets done. Oh, nice outside, eh? It's good for firewood. As you can see, he's pruning off all the dead parts. All the dead branches.
Yeah, but guess what? When I, you know how I break down the mic,
What's your age? What's your age?
But we can't go back.
So I'm just saying, we need to know that. And then now, another thing that's making so many people sick, and that is that there's glyphosate drying down all the grain and the beans and the nuts and seeds.
What?
They spray
you told
a
us
fresh
about
coat
that.
on it just before they harvest it, so you get to eat it all. And that glyphosate or Roundup
Yes.
is the #1 used antibiotics on planet Earth. Even though they use it as an herbicide, it's an antibiotic. It slaughters your microbiome, and your microbiome in your large intestine is what produces an oil fuel that makes your immune system cells healthy. That's why our immune systems are shot. That's why we have all these autoimmune diseases. It's because we're slaughtering the microbiome in our large intestine that makes oil fuel that they need to be healthy. That's why we have all our degenerative diseases. And the people,
Like lupus, for example.
everyone, all the
Lyme
degenerative
disease,
diseases. Go look it up online and see what they are. All the
autoimmune diseases,
Look
yeah.
it up online and see how long the list
This
is.
is-
All of them are as a result of the slaughter of the
Microbiome
microbiome
in
in
the
our large intestine.
Oh, no.
Powerful.
And
wow.
it's because of, and there's a lot more involved with it too. You need to get Gundry's book, Plant Paradox.
Plant Paradox.
Now,
Oh, I heard of
guy-
this book.
That guy was,
It's very sick, right?
he was the head of cardiology at Loma Linda for 16 years. He's an evolutionary biologist.
I heard of it.
okay?
I heard of it.
Now, he hangs out with these Seventh-day Adventists for 16 years. He performs over 10,000 heart operations, invents all kinds of heart equipment, but he's hanging out with these Adventists, reading stuff like Kellogg and Ellen White, and he's saying, this evolutionary biologist, they're into something here.
Wow.
Guess what he does? He quits Loma Linda
that.
and he starts healing people with just food and diet
Imagine that.
and teaching them
Amen.
what damages the microbiome. And he's making money hand over fist. He has bestsellers in the New York Times bestseller list. He has books on this subject here. And he gleaned it all from Adventists who wouldn't use it at Loma Linda, and now he's making money hand over fist with it.
I saw him the other day.
So
He was
the
selling
stones are crying out.
an oil.
These are the stones.
What is his name?
Wow.
Selling olive oil.
Got Stephen Gundry.
Yes,
Olive
Gundry,
oil.
olive oil.
I saw him the other day.
Well,
and
he
was
sells all
selling-
kinds of stuff.
And I looked at. I was going to buy it, but now I'm going to buy it. So the olive
Well,
oil. What do you
know,
think? Because after I said,
I'm not
this
saying you
man,
have to buy his products.
No, but-
I'm just saying listen to what he has to say in his book, Plant Paradox, the most up-to-date. I guess there's different copies of it, the most up-to-date one, and learn what is slaughtering our microbiome. He has a chapter called The 7 Deadly Disruptors.
Oh, wow.
Because we've got to stop. You've got to teach people how they can be better. There's only one way. They got to heal their immune system.
Their guts.
And it can't
Yep.
be done in the United States eating from the supermarket.
Wow. So what do we do?
You
gotta
ha-
grow your own
grow your-
stuff.
well, organic foods are about the only thing you could do. You have to pay the price.
And what about the wheat? Where do we even start with wheat?
Well, you don't. I haven't eaten wheat in over 10
can't
years.
find
Yes,
good
wheat
wheat.
belly.
I
Never
don't-
read wheat belly.
Yeah, I hear what
Wheat
you say.
belly,
Yeah.
you're
The
right.
bread is no good either.
Wheat
The bread is
belly.
no good.
Wheat belly. Read that
So,
book.
I hear that.
so what about
You
the
can
spells?
you can
No.
get the old grain.
No?
I have a catalog at home.
About spells.
And it has spelt seed for sale for the growers. And it has 2 kinds of spelt. It says, we've got this little short spelt,
Wow.
and we've got the original genetics 4 to 5 foot spelt.
Wow.
The growers know what's going on.
Wow.
So, of course, they're going to get more
Oh, the
if they
smaller
buy the
one.
short one that's been crossed with with the wheat belly.
So the spelt is no
wheat.
good either.
You know, I quit
Well, you don't
spells.
know. You have to
So
know
you're
your
gonna
grower. You've
Well,
got to
then
know
there's
your
another
grower.
wheat
This
out
is another
there
thing.
that
You've
comes
got
from
to
Italy.
know
It's called
who's
einkorn-
growing your food for
einkorn
you.
Wheat.
There is a place in Montana, and I forget his name now, who Kamut International. He has over 200 growers, all growing the original grain, the original Kamut seed.
Amen.
Kamut is a wheat.
Yes,
It's a kind
I
of
have
wheat.
Kamut in there.
Okay, but you want to make sure it's his because it could be a cross.
Oh.
Okay, by one of the
No, I
other.
stopped eating
He's
all
growing
wheat.
the original Kamut International.
Yeah, I told
Out
you.
of
The wheat is no good.
they grow I think a couple they grow a couple I think about 200,000 acres, so he's got a little to sell there. The leaf has all the complex sugars and starches that it's supposed to have. The insects with their antenna, guess what, they use them for a reason. They have antenna. They take a readout on the plant because the infrared coming in from space bounces off the plant and gives them a readout as to the nutrient density. And if the nutrient density is high, they will not touch it because they know the complex sugars and starches in there will not digest. So to them, it's indigestible. But if it's a sickly plant, then you have mostly simple sugars, and simple sugars they can digest, and they'll come in and eat them. Now, fungus, when they land on a leaf, they too, like a spaceship landing on a planet, take a readout to see whether the environment is hospitable or not. If it's hospitable, they'll start to grow and go and penetrate the cell wall and go into the plant. But if the plant is healthy and it has all the silica that it needs, silica dioxide is quartz.
Yes, quartz,
It's
yeah.
solid stone. In other words, they're not going to get through that stony wall. They won't try to grow. They'll just say, inhospitable, we can't grow here, and they'll just stay there. And then the bacteria and the virus, when they enter a wound, say caused by hail damage or something like that, they take a readout of the sap's nutrient density, and if it's high, they know they cannot survive in it, and they just stay encysted and they won't attempt to grow. So when you have nutrient dense, which means that word means all the nutrients that a plant needs, because God has levels that we're supposed to have, and when you get them up to those levels, no more insect, no more fungus, no more bacteria, no more virus
Interesting.
bother the plants. They're his garbage disposal crews, and they only
Wow.
eat garbage.
And you imagine many country areas they have a lot of a lot of these pests because they don't grow to its potential, right? I mean, well, to its height, or you said something about height. If it's fully,
Well, in the height in terms of the density.
that's what I meant. Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
So what is this spotty thing? Like some of them look greenish or like moss
recording
on
this?
the trees or blight or whatever. What is those
That's
stuff?
not like that. Those are lichen. They belong there.
Okay. Because I see the many trees.
If they're there,
Yeah.
and God put them there, they are helping the tree.
Okay.
Amen.
Okay. You remember the spots, you know?
We have a good month.
Yeah, we have
See,
some of that. Okay.
This is the way God designed it. Every single thing he created in nature, all of its activities are serving others in its sphere of influence.
I never see those.
Canning, magic canning is the preparation of the bottle and the can. You know, the lid. So you want to make sure that you wash your bottles, and then what you are going to do is that because you're doing it cold, then you don't need to warm the bottles at all. You just need to warm the lids. If you were going to do, for example, juice, you'd need to warm the bottles, because when you go to hot with cold, it's going to crack. You know, so you just do that. So that's the first thing. So once you've prepared your tomatoes to cut them, you know, then you want to put a teaspoon of salt in the ball jar, and then you put your tomatoes up to an inch. And then you want to make sure, this is crucial, you wipe the mouth of the jar very clean. And then your lids are always it's nice and clean. So you just put the lid on top of it, and you want to screw the cover. So the lid and the cover, they call them the band. And you want to make sure that those are finger tight. And then you put them, you know, that's 7, and you put them to boil. And you use that I put warm water, and you just let that come up to a rolling boil. And once it's a rolling boil, I give it another 10 minutes of a rolling boil. You know, once it's rolling, 10 minutes, and then you just turn it off, and you just take them out, and just put them on. Now that they are hot, you want to put them on not on the cold surface. You know, so if you have a towel, or if you have a dish drainer, you know, whatever it is, you just put them on that, and you just wait for them to pop. The popping tells you that they're sealed. And the way that you can test them, you know, is that you just run your finger, and if there is not an indent, if the indentation is down, then you know it's sealed. If it's still up, then it's not sealed. And all you have to do is to either use that or to redo it again. And one seal, you can keep that for years.
Thank you for that information. Very much
What do you
appreciated.
do for the saw? What is the object lesson we need to do here?
When you hold this saw, you always hold it tight. Your muscles are tense. You do not let this thing you never relax with it in your hand while it's running. Because when you walk around in that brush like there, if you just move and you walk and you hit a piece, it could fly that saw up at you. So you always have it, so you're always ready to jerk back. Because you don't have enough time to see it flying, feel it flying, and catch it. You don't have enough time.
And you recommend that we wear goggles, right?
Boy, it's nice to be able to see with all that stuff getting in your eyes. Yeah. I mean, my boys don't wear goggles, but they stop every so often to clean their eyes.
Yeah. I want them to
Okay, so that's the main thing there, because you don't want this thing flying up at you.
Okay.
And especially if you're cutting something on the tree here like this, you never just want to casually touch this tip, because it will fly right like that.
Yeah, wow.
Makes it fly.
That's good to know.
Those are the dangerous things about a saw. If you just keep control of it all the time, you're okay.
Okay.
You put it down where you want. You cut in this part here, not out in the tip, unless you're experienced. But you always try to make your cuts in here.
Now, if somebody's petite, like some of us may be here, would they be able to cut this ourselves?
Yeah, if you have a light enough saw that you can control.
Okay.
You don't get a big one, because when I had Lyme, I was really weak. I couldn't handle the saw at all.
It's too much.
Because I was too weak. But once I regained my strength again, now it's no problem at all.
Okay.
So it's good exercise for the
You have
arm.
the strength. Don't mess with it if you can't muscle this thing.
Okay, very good.
No, I'm going to buy a smaller one.
Thank you so much for your advice, Jerry Travers. It's been a blessing having you here so far. We look forward to more learning from you.